Welcome to today's presentation of AI-native ERP for contractors, why AI creates better accounting jobs, not fewer. I'm Brian Terrell, the managing partner at B. Terrell Group of Companies, including Legible, where for 35 years we've been upgrading small and mid-sized general and specialty contractors from QuickBooks or a legacy on-premises construction financial accounting application to Sage Intacct Construction. Maybe you're thinking, we subscribe our customers to Sage Intacct Construction when actually we subscribe our customers to peace of mind. The peace of mind that comes from consistent and committed support from a team of subject matter experts in a mission critical business application. That mission critical business application just happens to be Sage Intacct Construction. If you're here today for continuing professional education, today's presentation qualifies for 1 hour of CPE credit. And the only two things we ask of you is that you respond to the polling questions that you'll see pop up on the screen from time to time. And please complete our post-webinar evaluation form. The form will be sent out in the next day or so after the website. We've created a polling question that will appear now that shows you exactly what they look like, how you should respond. And this first polling question collects the critical information that helps us to know if you're here today for continuing professional education. So take this question seriously, answer it as well as you can, and we'll take that information and know whether or not to expect that you'll be expecting a CPE certificate from us. Your goal should be to answer these polling questions in about 20 seconds or so, and then that will allow us to quickly move on with the rest of our presentation. We've disabled the audio for all attendees to minimize distractions like the doorbell ringing or the dog barking, but please don't take this as an indicator that we don't want your questions. We welcome your questions, and in order to submit those questions, we've enabled the Q&A button on the Zoom toolbar. If you enter those questions throughout the presentation, they'll queue up in that Q&A button, and I'll be notified of those and be able to address them before we end today. The last thing I'd like to share is that we are recording today's presentation. We'll send you a link to that recording within 5 business days or so. Please use that link to review the highlights of the information that you want to be sure to remember. Also, please use that link to share with colleagues within your office who are unable to join us today. And if you have peers outside of your office that you feel would be benefited by receiving the information that we share today, please send them that link and share that information. That wraps up our housekeeping items. Let's get started. Today, I will review the fundamentals of artificial intelligence, follow the development of accounting software technology from way back in the beginning all the way to the AI era, and explain how the future holds more and better jobs, both for those who work in the construction accounting back office, as well as those who are working out on the construction job site. Let's begin by a quick review of artificial intelligence. In my presentations to CPAs on artificial intelligence since 2017, I've described AI as a ladder of technology with three rungs on it. The first rung is occupied by robotic process automation. RPA memorizes the mouse clicks and keyboard strokes that a business user would use in operating a business application and plays those back at runtime. The second rung of the AI technology ladder is occupied by machine learning. Machine learning is the same data pattern matching technology that Google uses to auto complete our search terms. And then the third rung on the AI technology ladder is occupied by that artificial intelligence that generates unscripted natural language responses or actions to our text messages or prompts. I always used to think of this as the application like or applications like IBM Watson. IBM Watson was the 1980 and 90 era IBM application that would regularly beat up on the best chess players in the country. And in my mind, I thought artificial intelligence of this level was totally out of reach of the average small to mid-sized business, and I would never run across it in this space. And I was right until the November 2022 release of ChatGPT. This reminds me of a Windows networking class that I enrolled in at SMU in September of 1995. On the first day of that class, the professor asked us to download Netscape Navigator. Netscape Navigator was the first graphical user interface to the World Wide Web, and the minute I saw the internet through the lens of this graphical user experience, I realized for the very first time what all of the buzz and hyperbole was about. I got it. And the next day, I called all my clients and I said, "You don't know it, but you need to register your domain name." I call this my Netscape Navigator moment with respect to the internet. And over my career, I've seen many of these moments, like the Netscape Navigator moment with respect to smartphone technology, which occurred during the or as of the 2007 release of the iPhone. The November 2022 release of ChatGPT, that was the Netscape Navigator moment for artificial intelligence. Not just for me, but for many. How do I know? No application has ever experienced the online account sign-up rate enjoyed by OpenAI for ChatGPT. In 5 business days following that November 30th, 2022 release of ChatGPT, 1 million people signed up online for a ChatGPT account. They did so without any advance warning or any advance marketing. This week, 800 million people will use ChatGPT. This represents 10% of the entire population of the world and makes ChatGPT the most successful software program ever created. ChatGPT is nothing more than a web-based user interface to an AI model data scientists call a large language model. What is a large language model? If I could envision a large language model, I imagine it would look just like the Las Vegas Sphere, which is that huge multimedia venue located there on the Strip in Las Vegas. Actually, a large language model is an invisible three-dimensional database into which data scientists have downloaded all of the publicly available data ever published on the internet. Words indexed, words are stored in that three-dimensional database in the same way they appear online, so that the large language model is able to return the word most often used on the internet to complete a phrase or to complete a sentence or to complete a paragraph. In fact, that's all Chat GPT does. It allows us to send a text message to the large language model, and in return, we receive some composition of phrases, sentences, or paragraphs organized in much the same manner as they would be out on the internet. Uh, the best way, I think, to understand how that works is just to take a look. This is Google Chrome, and it's probably the exact same browser that you guys are using in order to observe today's webinar. I'm going to go to the search bar here at the top, and I'm going to type in chatgpt.com. ChatGPT appears on the screen. You'll notice it's an extremely simple user interface, dominated by, in the middle there, by this large text box. It's inside this text box that we enter our text messages that we hope that ChatGPT will send on to the large language model, in return receiving the word most often used on the internet to complete a phrase, a sentence, or a paragraph. These text messages are called prompts. Therefore, this text box is called a prompt box. And I've pre-constructed a prompt that I will paste into this prompt box and read it to you now. Let's play a game where I write an incomplete sentence and you complete that sentence, preferably with one word. I don't want you to do anything other than complete the sentence. Please don't explain why you completed it the way you do or provide any commentary. Just complete the sentence. Are you ready to play? This up arrow in the bottom right-hand side of the prompt box acts as our enter key, so that when I click on that up arrow, this text message is transmitted to the large language model, and the large language model should respond. Let's go ahead, click that now, and see how it responds. Yes. There's a couple of really encouraging revelations here. Number one, we have a working internet account. But number two, it's responding in such a manner that it's following my instructions. Remember, up here at the top in the prompt, I ask it to reply, preferably with one word. So now it's all queued up and ready to play what I might call the phrase or sentence completion game. Let me type in better late than. Each and every one of us have our own version of a large language model sitting on our shoulders, and each and every one of us knows the fourth word in this four-word phrase. The question's not whether or not we know it. The question's whether or not ChatGPT can return it. So I'm going to click on this up arrow, and we're going to find out. That's good. There's no time like the. Here's 5 words, the 6th word of which we know and can easily predict, but can ChatGPT. That's very good. Behind every successful CPA is A. Now, at this point, I'm far less confident that my large language model knows the word most often used on the internet to complete this phrase. It might be a professor, it might be a spouse, it might be a certificate on the wall. Let's go ahead and click the up arrow and see what ChatGPT says. Team. That's not actually unsurprising. Is this intelligence, or is it memorized language patterns? Is it magic, or is it an advanced form of Google's autocomplete? Is it evil, or is it good? Every business application developer will tell you it's good because they are back at the office right now working feverishly to integrate artificial intelligence into their existing business applications. And they're focusing their efforts in in one of two primary ways. The first is either they are adding chat-based user interfaces, much like the one that I just demonstrated, and for which the marketing word of the day is Copilot, or they're adding what you might have heard referred to as AI agents. Chat-based user interfaces require a human being to get the ball rolling, to prompt the large language model for a response. And these are our business application developers are incorporating exactly that same user experience into their business applications that I just demonstrated with ChatGPT. They all allow us to, or want to allow us to ask questions of our business applications using natural language. Imagine a time in the very near future where we chat with or prompt our accounting software. Show me all the subcontractors with expired certificates of insurance. Allocate insurance by job headcount. As of the end of the month, draft that entry and place it in my queue for approval. Recognize revenue based on the percentage of completion as estimated as of the 15th of November. These chat-based user interfaces or co-pilots, they require a human being to get the ball rolling. AI agents, on the other hand, don't require a human being to prompt them. An AI agent, in other words, starts things or prompts itself to do things on my behalf. And if a chat-based user interface is referred to as a co-pilot, why aren't we referring to AI agents as autopilots? AI agents or autopilots prompt us to review, approve, or post their work. Imagine an AI construction project manager agent that accesses the construction schedule, the daily log, and the weather report, and realizes on Wednesday morning that the work on the job site scheduled for Tuesday afternoon was rained out. That agent would autonomously know to reach out to that subcontractor and reschedule and reprice that rained out work. If there were any tasks dependent on the completion of that original task, it would know to reach out to those subcontractors, rescheduling and repricing, if necessary, those dependent tasks. It would be able to compose all of our change orders and send those out for electronic authorization to the correct people using DocuSign. It would know that once all of those documents are completed, it would know to file them away in our project's electronic filing cabinet. This is the digital project manager that never sleeps, the digital project manager that never forgets, that never fails to follow company policy. It learns with each project, it improves over time, it anticipates problems. It's the project manager with perfect memory, perfect follow-up, and a perfect access to all the documents, all the systems, and all the people it needs in order to complete its jobs. In short, it's the project manager that has never existed. But also, it's the business application that's never existed. We've never been able to develop business applications that manage the entire universe of potential circumstances because we were using static software coding tools to create static code. And static code requires static circumstance. It's only AI agents that are able to adapt in real time to every job site possibility without the oversight of a human being, using the natural language processing capabilities of large language models to compose unique responses and unique actions to unique sets of circumstances. On July the 18th of 2023, the CEO at Microsoft took the stage to announce pricing for a new Microsoft product Microsoft called Microsoft Copilot. Microsoft Copilot is a sublicense and integration of OpenAI's Chat GPT program into the Microsoft 365 suite of business products. And the price that Microsoft CEO announced on that day, $30 per user per month. Now, I don't know about you, but back in our office, we were only paying $23 or $24 per user per month for each and every one of these applications, including the ability to make and receive phone calls using Microsoft Teams. At the end of that day, to nobody's surprise, the Microsoft stock closed at an all-time high price of $354 per share, and since that time, it's been nowhere but up. I think the last time I checked, which was last Friday, it was up to $510 per share. Microsoft has taken an early lead or took an early lead in adding a chat-based user experience or Copilot into their existing business applications. Sage has taken an early lead in creating artificial intelligence agents. Sage includes many AI agents that are either currently shipping or will soon to be shipping in Sage Intacct Construction. The AP agent sits in the background looking for emails sent to AP at mycompany.com, opens those emails, parses those attached PDF documents, and drafts our supplier AP bills. The time agent suggests timesheet entries based upon a continuous review of our personal productivity applications. The AR agent sends past due invoices to slow paying customers, which is the job everybody hates. The close agent streamlines our month-end closing process, creating and maintaining the checklist and prompting our colleagues, for lack of a better word, to nag our colleagues to do their jobs. The assurance agent detects outlier entries. Maybe it's the right subcontractor but the wrong project. Maybe it's the right project but the wrong cost code. Maybe it's the right cost code but the wrong amount. Or maybe there's no amount at all. And bringing these posting errors and outliers to our attention gives us an early warning indicator to make the corrections required to ward off distortions, misleading work in progress numbers or gross margin numbers. And it also eliminates closing emergencies, which has the added benefit of accelerating the financial close. The financial intelligence agent opens up the entire program to questions posed to it in natural language. Show me all the subcontractors with expired certificates of insurance. To put a bow on top, Sage ties all these agents together using a chat-based user interface that they call, and you guessed it, Sage Copilot. AI is a dramatic technology that's making a big impact on business applications by adding natural language user experiences or interfaces or co-pilots that require us to initiate the work. They also add AI agents that do not require us to initiate the work. This brings us to the next item on our agenda, which places these AI developments into the context of the accounting and construction technology world. At Legible, we're beginning to follow the development of AI native accounting applications. To understand the significance of these AI native accounting applications, we need to understand how they differ, or this change differs from previous changes experienced in accounting software. We need to understand the impact that AI agents have in this change, and we need to understand the changing composition of the market size for business applications. Let's begin with a quick review of the history of accounting software. It all began with green bar paper, which gave way to DOS character-based applications running on personal computers linked together within the office using a local area network. These were uh, character-based applications running on an operating system to which we used to refer as DOS. DOS applications or character-based applications gave way to Windows applications. Windows applications created a graphical user interface to run our accounting, on which we could run our accounting applications. Windows applications gave way to cloud-based applications in which we were able to operate our accounting applications using a browser. Surveys of small and medium-sized businesses tell us that fully 40% of us are still using legacy on-premises applications. We've yet to migrate our books and records to the cloud. That percentage may be higher in construction simply because of the complication of our industry and because of the regulations that take our focus away from these types of things. The number, these same surveys indicate that the number of folks using cloud-based applications is 50%. So that 10% difference between those who are still using legacy apps and those that are already keeping their books and records on the cloud is probably composed of companies that are halfway between the legacy applications and the cloud-based applications. The fourth big change in accounting technology that seems to be starting or being started by various startup companies is the creation of AI native accounting applications, of which these various startup companies are in the early stages of creating. We could refer to this fourth great platform shift as ERP 4.0. AI agents make this fourth platform shift different from the first three previous platforms, character-based applications, Windows applications, cloud-based applications. They all required a human being to be involved in everything. In the future, with AI native ERP applications, we can rely on our hypothetical AI construction project manager agent to perform the mind-numbingly boring task we all hate and put off to the very end, or don't get around to getting done at all, and in the process free us all up for higher value tasks. In this whole process, software publishers may begin to realize that they can no longer rely on per user licensing in order to meet their revenue objectives. The user license based model is ripe for disruption, and this represents a potential major expansion of the market for these same software publishers. Today's business software market measures $300 billion in annual revenue. And that's, of course, not computer or construction technology. That's Salesforce, that's Shopify, that's HubSpot, that's everything. By contrast, the business labor market measures, the annual business labor market measures $13 trillion. That's over 40 times as much revenue. And when ERP 4.0 drafts the change order for me, software publishers begin to imagine capturing part of that $13 trillion market. Everybody will win. Nobody will object. The customer will pay less than the cost of a person to send out that dunning letter, and the publisher will receive more than the price of a user license. Said another way, customers will pay less for a desired outcome, and publishers will receive more for delivering on that outcome. AI-native ERP opens up a $13 trillion labor market for publishers. AI-native ERP is built from the ground up for artificial intelligence. It's not taking our existing cloud and Windows applications and retrofitting them for co-pilots and AI agents. These AI-native ERP applications are being built from the ground up using AI coding tools, which makes their development effort faster and cheaper. AI native ERP incorporates AI agents into the applications to eliminate the mind-numbingly boring tasks like sending dunning letters to our slow-paying customers. AI native ERP walks away from our current monolithic ERP design, trading bloated code and massive help screens and complicated forms with radio buttons and drop-down lists and one-size-fits-all reports for a lightweight natural language user experience in which we ask for exactly what we need. If the report or the code is not available when we ask for it, AI native ERP can write that report or can write that code in real time in order to satisfy our request. These applications should be faster to implement and should be easier to use. Remember these names: Rillet, Digits, and Campfire. These are the early leaders in the AI native ERP development race. I've superimposed these names, Rillet, Digits, Campfire, and others, over a graph of the accounting software market. Notice that they're pasted in an area or on the in the market that has been formerly underserved. In other words, when someone outgrew QuickBooks, they had no choice but to jump up all the way to Sage Intacct Construction. And these AI native ERP application developers have placed a bullseye on exactly that gap in the small and mid-sized business market, which creates just more market disruption. Which of these early leaders in the AI native ERP application race is going to win? Nobody knows for sure. At Legible, we are on the lookout for a construction and real estate focused AI native accounting application. Thus far, we've not identified one. If you know of one, please type it in the user or in the Q&A button on the toolbar, and we'll take a look at that and research that. This whole change is not going to be quick. Remember, we're only about halfway through the platform shift from Windows to cloud-based applications. However, it's going to be quicker than the last, and all technology change continues to accelerate, and there's no reason to think that this will be any different. It's time for a quick polling question. And that polling question is autopilot is the marketing word of the day for chat-based user interfaces added to business applications. I want to lower the temperature around getting these questions answered right. We don't care if you get the question answered right or wrong. What we care is that we comply with the Texas State Board of Public Accountancy's requirements that we ask these questions. They're called compliance questions. And the answer to this one, this is sort of a trick question. The answer to this one is false. False because Copilot is the marketing word of the day for these chat-based user interfaces. Autopilot is just a word that I made up as I started to think through this presentation. It would be an ideal word applied to AI agents. We've reviewed the basics of artificial intelligence and discussed how the last 40 years of accounting software have evolved. And we understand that we are in the very early stages of the fourth great accounting application platform shift. Let's consider now why all of this change creates new and better construction jobs. Someone once said, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And if ever there was a sufficiently advanced technology, it's today. It's artificial intelligence. And magic is a spooky word and tends to create what I call technology moral panic attacks. And the technology moral panic attacks are running wild. The doomsdayers and the do-notters of the world are all hyperventilating, saying AI will destroy all of our jobs. AI will lead to unpredictable or hostile outcomes. AI does not align with our objectives, and AI will be weaponized and bring about the end of the world. At Legible, we have a completely different take. There are no doomsdayers or do-notters on our team. Instead, we ask, what if or why not? We are what-ifers and why-notters. Technology has always resulted in employment gain, never employment loss. And we see no reason to believe that this time will be any different. Now, if we're right, what makes everybody else wrong? Recently, I came across an article by Derek Thompson. You may know Derek from his work in the Atlantic, or you may know Derek because of his recent best-selling book entitled Abundance. And Derek, in a recent Substack article, asked a very intriguing question. Is AI a tractor or is AI a spreadsheet? His point here is that tractors eliminated horses, but spreadsheets multiplied accountants. So his question is, which pattern will AI follow? Will AI eliminate jobs or will it multiply jobs? Now, Derek's a smart guy, but that question sends me down the wrong path by depending on a connection that I don't think exists. It depends on equating animals and humans, which is like equating tools and agents. And there's no equality between tools and agents. Instead, I think both tractors and spreadsheets will follow the exact same pattern. And understanding that pattern is the key to understanding our future. That pattern has a name. It's called Jevons paradox. Jevons paradox says that the more efficient technology makes us, the more work we do. It originated 160 years ago when economists expected that with the introduction of more efficient technology, specifically steam engines, we'd do the same amount of work with far less coal or energy, coal. But in reality, we ended up using far more coal, building far more trains, hiring far more railroad industry employees, and doing far more work. The fact that it did not happen became the basis for the theory called the Jevons paradox. Just because we can do something better or faster or cheaper doesn't mean we're going to do less of it. In fact, it's never meant that we do less of it. Instead, it's always meant that we invent or imagine ways to do more. It frees us up to do more. In construction, let's think about the use of drones on the construction site for project documentation. This has transformed project documentation at the job site, making it so cheap to create that documentation. Instead of taking a few key milestone photos, we now have a comprehensive documentation discipline that has been created out of our imagination simply because now all of a sudden we have time to think about things like that, and then we also have the tools to automate it. It's a discipline that never before existed, and in the process, we've added to the number of jobs out on the job site today. You guys are hiring construction drone pilots. You're hiring virtual reality walkthrough editors. You're hiring construction technology managers because, after all, somebody has to be managing all of this technology. Take a look at this graph, which tracks jobs in the accounting back office, starting with the end of green bar paper in the early 80s all the way to today. In accounting, spreadsheets arrived in or about 1980, and the fear was, why would we need accountants when we have Excel? Or actually, it was VisiCalc way back then, and then Lotus 123, and then Excel. But the point was, it was going to eliminate a lot of accounting jobs. But look at the data. The data shows that over time, from the invention of the spreadsheet until now, total employment in the back office has increased from 750,000 to 1.3 million people. That seems like a really small number to me, but maybe they're just taking one subset of our economy. Despite that fact that we invented spreadsheets, that we invented QuickBooks, that we invented cloud software, despite all of that automation, jobs in the back office has gone up dramatically over time. The question's not, will AI eliminate my job? The question's much more, what becomes possible when the mind-numbingly boring parts of my job that take minutes or that used to take days now take minutes. Now's the time. Now's the time to jump off that train that's occupied by the doomsdayers and the do-notters. Now's the time to jump on the rocket ship that's occupied by those that ask what if and why not. And when you get on that rocket ship, you're going to find the folks at Legible up front. in the cockpit because there are nothing but what ifers and why noters working here. Will artificial intelligence impact our industry? Of course it will. There'll there will be co-pilots. There will be AI agents. There will be AI native applications, and there will be continuous employment expansion. And so if I'm here today listening to some of this information and trying to decide what should I do with it, if I'm a CEO or a CFO or a CPA, a job site supervisor, a project manager, an influencer within my company, and I'm sitting in today's webinar audience, and I'm not encouraging the use of AI in my business, and I'm not using it myself, I am hurting those that work with me. I'm hurting my customers. I'm hurting myself. But I have to plan and I have to prepare to use AI safely because ChatGPT's own terms admit they use my prompts to train their public facing model. I have to learn how to use ChatGPT safely. And each and every one of the applications that are general purpose AI interfaces to large language models have this same challenge facing us. We have to figure out how to configure them in such a way that we can use them safely. With respect to ChatGPT, the first thing I do is I create an account. I log into that account. I migrate to data controls underneath the settings menu selection, and then I toggle this setting from on to off. It will be different for Perplexity. It will be different for Claude. It will be different for Gemini, but they all have this capability. And it's important for me to share that uh, if I'm using Sage Copilot or Microsoft Copilot or any other business application that has incorporated chat-based user experiences into their apps, they've already made that selection permanent for me. But I think you should confirm that, and I can certainly speak for Sage and ensure you that Sage AI guarantees the safety, protection, and confidentiality of your data. Sage will never use your data to train their model. Construction jobs. It's time for, I guess, a quick question. Construction jobs we couldn't imagine 15 years ago include construction drone pilots, virtual reality walkthrough editors, construction technology managers, or all of the above. Of course, the answer is all of the above. Technology over time has multiplied the number of opportunities in all industries, and construction is no different. Okay, well, we've come to the end of our presentation. Let me just see what type of questions might have been asked. I see a couple here. Hope they're not hard. All righty. These questions are really not okay. Questions that are really not related to the topic, more related to working the complying with the requests with the CPE questions. So it may be that we're going to be able to wrap up after about 50 minutes or so. But let me just pause for just a moment to see if there are any other folks that would like to ask a question. Okay. Well, let me just say that the success of this presentation is certainly not due to the efforts that I've made as much as they are due to the efforts of our talented team behind the scenes. You have no idea how much work it takes in order to produce an event like this. So thank you to Shirley and Sophia and our all of the team back at Legible for both producing the event, advertising it, signing people up, making sure that I have the best slides of any webinar I've seen. Remember, we'll have another webinar scheduled in about a month. I don't know exactly what that topic will be, but I'll make sure and inform you. And until that time, thank you for joining us today.